What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Bit of a different video today. It's going to be me going through my shoes that I have, all for different sorts of wear. So whether that's at the gym, an easy run, tempo run, or a race shoe. So I'll be going through what the brand of the shoe is, why I like it, or why I went for it in the first place, and then I'll also put some details up on screen with the pricing information, assuming that you go from that website and don't, get it from StockX or something, because obviously they do a lot of cheaper versions on shoes. So I'll start with probably the least exciting shoes and then get to the more exciting ones at the end. So if I start with my gym shoes, these are ones that I got from Decathlon. They're called the Domios something or other, and they're pretty good. I'm actually really happy with them. They were literally 35 quid, so really cheap. Yeah, not much to say, but they're pretty flat, not much cushioning, which is what you want in a gym shoe. Sort of good ground feel. They're pretty, as you can see, pretty flexible, bend quite a lot. And I also wear them quite a bit for cross training as well, so if I'm on the elliptical, there's a good chance that I'll wear them, or if I'm on the bike as well. So pretty good shoe, especially if you want something quite cheap and minimalist that you don't necessarily need that cushioning from. Now, these are actually my most recent running shoe purchases, but it's the Puma Velocity Nitro 3, and I actually really like these shoes. When I first got them, I thought they were a little bit too cushioned, because I got them as I was coming back into running from my foot injury that I had a few months ago now, and I got them to be a bit more supportive, and because they weren't too aggressive with like the rocker. And then I started just wearing them for easy runs after my foot injury had healed. But actually I really like them. In fact, I got a Strava notification the other day saying I'd already put 500 kilometers into them, which I was like, how? I've only had them like 3 months. Or maybe coming up to 4 now, but even so, yeah, very good shoe, supportive, good for easy runs, but I also wear them for my long runs as well. They can handle slightly faster paces like tempo, not much of a problem. And even at the end of an easy run, when I do strides, I use these. They're not the best for that, and I wouldn't want to wear them on the track, but they are a very solid shoe, and also not too overpriced. I'd say they're pretty good price, like £110 I think it was. That is pretty good for shoes these days. And yeah, just I would definitely recommend, if you want one shoe to do everything in, maybe not if you do a lot of faster running, and like if you're to do a lot of 5k park runs or something like that, but definitely still a good option. And if you see, very good grip as well. I've not actually worn them in cold, icy conditions, or even wet conditions, but I can just tell they've got good grip. And while it did say that I've hit 500 kilometers, there's only slight wear at the back and on the side here, but overall it's pretty good. I'm definitely going to wear them for a lot longer, probably get to about 1,000 kilometers and then retire them maybe. But yeah, still probably would wear them after that as like an everyday shoe to walk around in. And then another shoe which is more sort of a tempo shoe, and actually I don't wear as much now that I have those shoes, but used to wear for my easy ones as well, are the Kiprun KD 900 light version, just because I didn't want the heavier version. These are pretty good for tempo, or if I'm warming up at the track, or if I've worn those Puma shoes and I don't want to wear them again because of just saving cushioning and meaning that they last a bit longer. But they are a bit less cushioned, and I can feel a bit more forefoot pressure if I wear them, which, like I said, it's fine if you're at the track or doing a warm up or something, or I would wear them for an easy run, but maybe not a long run. And they can handle faster paces a bit better, which is why I said they're quite good for tempo runs. But probably the reason they're the best is that they're the best at what they do is that they've again got good grip, and I'm pretty sure they were only £90, so less than £100, and it'd be a good option if you're getting into running as like a all-rounder, because you can use it for easy runs, although I would admit maybe not go for the light version, because I'm pretty sure the normal version actually has a bit more cushioning, but yeah, you can also still run pretty fast in it, so definitely a good option, especially if you don't want to spend too much. And then for my speed sort of shoes that I wear at the track all the time, the Saucony Endorphin Speed, believe version 3. I don't know how long I've had these now, probably too long, because I mean the grip's definitely going. I don't even know if there was black pads there. There probably were, but they've gone. I have had them for quite a while. On Strava it says I'm nearing 2,000 kilometers. However, that was because I was using them as my shoes even when I wasn't wearing them, and just automatically saving them after a run. So that is completely inaccurate. So I have no idea how much I have actually run in them. But I still think, in terms of the cushioning, I still think I noticed a difference, you know, there definitely is between wearing like my Puma shoes, and I always wear these at track Tuesday and Thursday. If I'm not wearing spikes, then I'll always wear these. Like I said, very good for fast paces, but the grip is definitely noticeable. You know, on a track, if it's slippy, like that can be a bit of an issue, but then obviously you could probably just change into spikes. And you know, if you're on like dirt or gravel, you'd have to be a little bit careful if you're turning, but still very good. I did get these as a birthday present, but I am also aware they were a bit more expensive than the other two shoes, as you would expect, because they are a very good shoe. You know, you could wear them for easy ones, it's a bit of a waste because that's not what they're designed for. But yeah, just a shoe that I think Saucony, just in terms of comfort, they're like the comfy shoes as well, which is why I like them so much. And I just really enjoy wearing them each time that I wear them. Whereas these next shoes, they're not as comfy, but they are my fastest shoes. Dylan from the future here, I realised there's a shoe that actually I forgot to mention, and it's because I've bought it, but I'm not yet wearing it because it hasn't arrived yet. But it's a shoe that I've essentially backed on a website called Kickstarter, which is for new innovations and pieces of technology that people have created. And essentially a Velo is a shoe with running technology within it. It's a Supertrainer, so it does all sorts of speeds, can be used for any type of run, and it will measure things like impact and load. It's essentially a bit like having something like a Whoop or a running watch in your shoe, which actually sounds pretty cool, which is why I decided to get it. And as one of the first people to back it, you can actually only have to pay $199, about 170-ish pounds, which I think is really good just for a Supertrainer in general, and then to get that sort of intelligence with it, I think is really cool. But there's more information on their website. You can use my link in the description to go check it out. I think it really is worth it. I myself did a lot of research into it to make sure I wasn't being scammed before I paid that $199, but actually you pledge that and then you don't actually have the money taken out of your account until you know it's being shipped to you. So it's not a scam, it's backed by scientists, proper scientists that I've actually heard of on it. So it does seem legit, and I just thought I'd recommend it because it's a shoe that I've decided to purchase and will be going into my running rotation. And I think it's, you know, it's a do-it-all shoe, and it's something that I'm definitely going to be wearing a lot, so I thought you guys might like it too. But yeah, go check it out using my link in the description. But also, I'm by no means sponsored by them, so this is not a sponsorship advertisement. I just genuinely think you might find it interesting. Nike Vaporfly 3s. Nike recently came out with the version 4, which I was not going to purchase because so far I've done about 45 kilometers in them, a half marathon and then a 10k and a few 5ks. That's literally it. And I mean, I can already tell though the foam, it's got quite a few creases in, but it will still hold up for probably, I get it to probably 500 kilometers, but it should probably only be used to about 300. But anyway, yeah, obviously as a super shoe, as you'd expect, pretty light, bouncy. I always use it for a race. I'll be using it in all the races that I have coming up. That I've even used it on the track actually in a 5k race that I've done. I wouldn't use it for anything shorter than that, you know, unless it was on the road. But yeah, just a very good shoe. I've not worn other super shoes, so I've nothing to compare it to, but like I said, it is good. And obviously, annoyingly, it is very expensive. £240 is quite a lot, but I would say for me they're better than going for the Vaporflies, because Vaporflies are more built for half marathon to marathon. These are half marathon, sort of the crossover where you could use either, but these are more 5k, 10k, and yeah, a very good shoe. And now we get into spikes. So I think I'll start with just the Brooks, I don't even know the model, but just some Brooks spikes that I've had for ages. There's, because I wear them on the track all the time, there's literally red on the bottom, you can't really tell, but they're not fast spikes at all. I'll just wear them when I'm doing hurdle drills, and I wore them when I first got into running at the track. So I've probably had them, it's probably why they're so snug, but I've probably had them a good 4 years now, probably 5. But yeah, as compared to the next spikes that I wear, they're definitely heavier. You can notice, I mean, they start to rip, there's actually a hole in. But as I said, I'm not racing in them at all ever. And even doing like fast reps, I would wear the next shoes I'm about to show, but these I'll use for sort of warm-ups and a few strides, and then, like I said, hurdle drills, or maybe if, you know, I'm ever, which is very rarely, jumping in sand, like long jump or something like that, I would wear these because I don't want to get other pair sandy. But yeah, just good to have some spikes to, you know, warm up in and sort of wear out, so you're not wearing out your nicer ones, such as the, now these are not the Dragonflies, even though they look very similar, but these are the Black Mambas, which I bought because they were £10 cheaper and were designed for steeplechase. So these, as you can tell, are obviously going to be very light, very very minimalist, and, you know, hard at the bottom. Bit of cushioning at the heel, was supposedly more because they were designed for steeplechase, where you're landing off the barrier and, you know, going to hit the ground a lot more. However, I don't see any difference between these and the Dragonfly in terms of cushioning. Yeah, I actually have worn these quite a lot now, and I am thinking of getting a new pair, but maybe not these again, because while they are good and while they do make me feel faster and promote good running form, I can tell they sort of force me to use my toes more and push off my toes. I have noticed also that foot injury that I mentioned having earlier definitely was the cause of these shoes, and just wearing too much spikes, but in particular these spikes, because they do put a lot of pressure on your forefoot. So I can't run too often in these, otherwise, you know, I can do a few reps, but I wouldn't want to wear them twice a week. I probably only want to wear them for one session at the track a week, which, you know, is fine. But also, I would say in terms of volume, I wouldn't want to do much more than like 3k in them, and that's fine. You know, they're still good for track racing and stuff. But if you only, say, if you don't race at the track very often, if you only want one pair of spikes, then maybe, I don't know, maybe these would work. But if you've got constant weekly workouts and you're wearing them pretty frequently, I would get some more sort of better padded, maybe even carbon plated spikes. But I think these are still good if you do want to feel fast and you just like adding on 200s or something at the end of a session. I still enjoy wearing them. I just noticed that I have to be careful. And then on to the last pair, which is again spikes. These are my cross-country spikes. They are not too dirty considering they're for cross-country, and they were designed, I think there's Nike's probably one of their best cross-country spikes. But yeah, they're very good. Fairly lightweight considering it's cross-country, so obviously they've got more padding and a bit more protection. And they also came with these custom spikes made of plastic, so that they don't fall out at all, and it's easier to clean and sort of get the mud off and unscrew them, which I think is very cool and very helpful as well. These are definitely the best cross-country spikes I've ever had, and feel much more durable. I would definitely, if you are into cross-country, definitely recommend these. Put on screen, I would have put on screen what the name of them are because I cannot remember, but they're essentially almost like the Vaporflies in a way of cross-country spikes, if that makes sense. But yeah, so they are all my running shoes. I hope you found it useful and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.